And Wills and Kate, they're doing their duty out and about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everyone thinks of Windsor and they think the castle, they think soldiers, they think all the pomp and ceremony. But actually, there are parts of Windsor which really, you know, people really struggle to put food on the table. So, from my understanding, the Prince and Princess were aware of the breadth of wealth, as it were, in the town, and did want to go to a food bank which is effectively feeding their neighbours on the royal estate. I mean, it's literally less than 2 miles from the castle, this food bank. So it just, I think, goes to show the differences of how people live. But yes, they were there, Prince and Princess of Wales. It was a surprise visit. The people, the volunteers there, didn't actually know that the Prince and Princess were going to be there until an hour before they turned up.
Gosh.
I mean, it was probably a bit of a...
they didn't have far to go, to be fair.
They didn't have far to go, and it was probably a bit of a... They probably were a bit curious when a load of media turned up and police officers before that, but nonetheless, they only found out an hour before. But yes, it was a wonderful engagement from the people I spoke to there. They were very pleased to see them, and they got hands-on, as you saw in my package.
They got hands-on, so did you. I could see you with a tin of soup in your hand as well, helping out. And also, as well, I think I should just point out, it does look a little bit like Cameron Walker and I have come in uniform today, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Wearing exactly the same outfit on National Telly. We obviously didn't check before we went on the TV, the cardinal sin of television. But there is something else going on, and this has just dropped in the last few minutes, as far as I could see anyway, which is that an OBE has been handed back. Another one of these celebrities jumping on the old train of, oh, well, I'm far too woke to accept an honour from the monarchy. Alan Cumming?
Yeah, the X-Men star, the actor. I mean, he posted this 7 hours ago, but we've only really started to become aware of it in the last couple of hours. But Alan Cumming, who, if you're familiar with the show Traitors as well, he presents the US version of that show, he has handed back his OBE, Order of the British Empire, and I'm just going to read you his reason. This is the quote from Alan Cumming. The Queen's death and the ensuing conversations about the role of monarchy, and especially the way the British Empire profited at the expense and death of Indigenous people across the world, really opened my eyes. Also, thankfully, times and laws in the US have changed, and the great good the award brought to the LGBTQ+ community back in 2009 is now less potent. That's why he got his OBE for services to advocacy for LGBT issues. So I returned my award, less potent misgivings, and I have been associated with the toxicity of the British Empire, and I have returned my award. Yeah.
Gosh, well, look, I am sure, for what it's worth, that all of the marginalised people in the world right now, both historically and today, will be breathing a big sigh of relief that Alan Cumming has handed his OBE back. But this is part of a wider push, I think. And concerns, isn't it, now? Because, look, whichever way you try to dress this up, there clearly are a huge number of people out there who, unfortunately, see the monarchy as intrinsically linked with historical wrongs.
Well, there are two sides to this story, aren't there? I mean, it is a well-known fact that way back when, you know, 200-300 years ago, I think it started with the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, the British Empire was involved in slavery, and the British royal family did indirectly profit, perhaps, from that. However, the King Charles has acknowledged on a number of occasions now that we need to acknowledge the wrongs which shape our past. That's what he said during one of his speeches. Clearly, the British honours system is designed to really elevate ordinary members of the public who have done good work for their communities, and I think a vast majority still see it as a great honour if they're invited to Buckingham Palace to receive an award from a member of the royal family. Unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, whichever way you look at it, the honours system is member of the British Empire, Order of the British Empire, etc. But I think it's British tradition, really, and I think the honours system has no link, really, to the historical slave trade.
No, well, indeed. Well, look, thank you very much for that, Cameron. Cameron Walker, our royal reporter, bringing you a couple of royal-related stories. What do you make, ladies and gentlemen, of these people handing back as some kind of dirty protest, really, the honours given to them by our monarchy for various different services? I find it quite offensive. And to be honest with you, if you don't want it, you don't see it quite literally as a badge of honour, then you're more than welcome to hand it back. I wouldn't turn my nose up at one, that's for sure, though I would go to the opening of a fridge door, to be fair.